All right. Let's go live. We're going to share out the stream and then we will start. Maybe we'll stream it. Okay. Oh. Almost done. And get this shared. We will start. Okay, I think we're good. So just kind of see. There's not really a lot of fantasy inactives, actives that we're looking for. We're more looking at defense. But I don't think there was many going into the game. Amari Cooper in. So that's a positive. A positive for me because I don't have to play Shakir now. Like, I don't have to force Shakir into my lineups. I don't know why this is acting weird. Hopefully. I think I'm good. Okay. Alright, so let's go over it. Kind of where I'm at with the slate. So the games I want exposure with and I have exposure with in my 150s. I obviously want Detroit exposure. I want, Gibbs and Montgomery priority over Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, Brock Wright. So, for Detroit, getting Gibbs at 7,300, David Montgomery at 6,500. Both those guys kind of in play for me. Amon-Ra, I think Amon-Ra is a good play. I really do. I don't not like it. For cash, I don't think you need to go there this week. But for tournaments, I think it's a really good play. Jameson Williams, I think, is a solid play as well, 5,800. Khalif Raymond, all three of these guys definitely in play, even though Tim Patrick kind of outsnaps Raymond. That's kind of where I'm at with it. So I want Detroit. That's an offense I definitely want. I like for a run back, even though it's Mac Jones and not Trevor Lawrence, unfortunately. I do like Brian Thomas Jr. It's just a good matchup for him. He's got to get targets by Mac Jones. Obviously, last week, 3 targets against Minnesota. Now gets, another NFC opponent. But I like Brian Thomas Jr., 6,100. His price is kind of higher, but I still think he's in play. For Miami, I think getting Tyreek Hill in lineups is good, especially in tournaments. I don't really think that, yet again, you have to go there in cash this week. But Devon Achane is kind of an amazing play at 7,200 at home against a defense that gives up a lot of fantasy points against running backs. Kind of seen Devon Achane on the ground. A couple good games. Obviously, he's had some good matchups. Arizona, Indy, Buffalo, LA. It's just kind of the game scripts. Obviously, when you have a offense like Vegas, you get some more opportunities. So I like Devon Achane a lot on this one. But on Vegas, I still like Jacoby Myers at 5,600, Brock Bowers at 5,800. Both those guys are in play for me today. I definitely have exposure to both of them. The Rams, Kyron Williams, a really, really good spot. Same for Cooper Kupp, Puka. Kyron's probably the only guy on this that I'm considering for cash. Don't think you have to go Kupp or Puka. They're good tournament plays though. The upside's there. I just don't think in cash you have to get there. New England, Demario Douglas, Kayshon Boutte, both those guys definitely in play. Boutte 3,500, Demario Douglas 4,700, and honestly, like you look at the fantasy points Boutte's gotten, first price point, I guess it's okay. Demario Douglas has, I guess, the more upside. So I kind of like Demario Douglas more personally. Cleveland, New Orleans, both these teams in this game you can go after. For what the upside has been, Cedric Tillman is the best play for wide receivers. 5,300, Jerry Jeudy's still in a good spot. If you want to go value, Elijah Moore, but I'm not as high on Elijah Moore as I am the other two. On New Orleans, I'm not going after any wide receiver for New Orleans, but both running backs 100% in play. Kamara just gets so much volume. Jamal Williams still out, so and on the other side, Nick Chubb in a really good spot. I mean, the attempts he's gotten against two really good run defenses back-to-back weeks, like, this is a really, really, really good matchup for Nick Chubb. So at 6K, definitely getting exposure to Nick Chubb today. He's one of my top running back plays today. Baltimore, Pittsburgh. I mean, I'm on Zay Flowers quite a bit. I like George Pickens. I think George Pickens is a really good play as well. It's just a price point for George Pickens. Granted, the numbers have been up there, but what you're paying for George Pickens versus paying for Zay Flowers, I mean, in my personal opinion, I think Zay Flowers just has the higher upside for $100 cheaper. Granted, George Pickens, probably better matchup, but I think Pittsburgh's still going to do Pittsburgh things. They're going to try to run the ball, do a really good job using the play action and, getting Pickens the ball versus Lamar and Derrick Henry. Kind of the same thing, but I think the opportunities for Zay Flower just a little bit better than George Pickens on that one. I do think Pat Freiermuth is definitely in play if you look at what Baltimore's done against opposing tight ends. Granted, 4,200, it's what really irritates me about DraftKings pricing. Pat Freiermuth really hasn't done anything at all this season, and he's at 4,200. This is... I'm going to go on just a small rant, and we'll get back into it. So, Pat Freiermuth is 4,200, right? We're going to go to Hunter Henry, who I totally miss. 3,900, Hunter Henry. Look at the numbers Hunter Henry's put up this season. And Hunter Henry's got a beautiful matchup. There's no reason that Hunter Henry should be cheaper than Pat Freiermuth. I'm just... Whoever does the pricing for DraftKings, I don't know what you're on this season. You need some help, though. This is crazy. Should never happen. And also, I just totally botched the tight ends for that game. Davis Allen, 2,500 is in play. 9 targets in the last 2 games, so both those guys definitely in play for me. Minnesota, Tennessee, I don't have a lot of exposure in this one. Getting Aaron Jones and in a small amount of Justin Jefferson, but I'm not really interested in Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson this week. On the Tennessee side, Ridley and Westbrook have exposure to both in this one. Westbrook just has the touchdown upside, but I mean, he's played pretty solid first price point and drops down $200. So I think Westbrook is definitely in play. Ridley is 100% in play, especially if Minnesota does what they consistently have done this season and start off the game hot. Will Levis is going to throw the ball a lot. It's Calvin Ridley and Westbrook, so definitely have exposure to both of those guys. The Indy Jets game, I have Anthony Richardson exposure, and I have Jonathan Taylor exposure. This sounds wild. I barely have anything for Colts receivers. Barely. It is minuscule how much I have them in my 150s currently. If that. On the Jet side, though, everyone's in play for me. Aaron Rodgers at 5,500. It's just very cheap price. Breece Hall, really good matchup for him as well at 7,500. And then the two receivers, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson. And then I have exposure to Tyler Conklin as well. I think it's a good matchup for him. Obviously, Ruckert's gotten some more snaps and more volume as the seasons went on, but I still like Tyler Conklin in this one. Atlanta, Denver. For the Atlanta side, I like Bijan at 7,800. That's kind of it. I think it's a tougher matchup. Drake London has the upside, especially for the price point. I don't really like Mooney or McLeod. I don't really see myself getting to Pitts. I don't think I have them. Exposure to them. On the Denver side, Cortland Sutton, Vele, both these guys are in play for me today. Vele for the price point, Cortland Sutton for the upside. That's kind of the two guys. And then Bo Nix is just... Atlanta, the thing about Atlanta has three corners, not starting. Two of them are starting. One is a backup. So you're down essentially number 2, number 3, number, I think, 5. So you have, your number 1, number 4, number 6. And that is tough. Bo Nix has the rushing upside, kind of seen it so far this season. Since, week 5, his floor is 14 points. So at 6,200, for him to get 20 points is kind of where I have him at in this one. Denver run game kind of all over the place. I don't want to touch, get a lot of exposure to Javonte and Estime and McLaughlin. I'm staying away from Denver running backs. I don't see it, right? I don't see Audric Estime. Like, he could get 14 carries again. He can. But, I don't know. McLaughlin would be the guy that I would want to go to on the ground than Estime. Estime has the goal line work, but if we're taking snaps away from Javonte, which we did, McLaughlin would be the guy I would look at more than Estime. And I'm just being honest there. Seattle, San Francisco, huge amount of exposure in this game. On the Seattle side, Ken Walker, I think, is in a good matchup. Receiving upside, going to get volume. Zach Charbonnet still there, going to get volume as well, but Ken Walker for the receiving upside. Geno Smith, Ward is still out, so definitely like that one. San Fran, although I don't think they're going to be missing anybody on their front 7 that's not already gone. They're really banged up. A lot of those guys were limited in practice this week, so they're healthy enough to play, obviously, and probably not much of it, but when you have like 3 or 4 guys that were on the injury report pretty much all week, it means they're not at 100%. So I kind of like Geno Smith, getting exposure to him, just passing the ball a lot, and then DK Metcalf, 6,500. On the San Fran side, I mean, everybody is in play on San Fran. Brock Purdy is in play. I mean, the consistency Brock Purdy's had from a fantasy perspective this season has been amazing. Where you've seen it, if you take away the Jets game, like 15 against Arizona has been the floor. Having CMC back, Ricky Pierce all kind of stepping up, with Brandon Ayuk out, Juwan Jennings stepping up. You don't have George Kittle at 6K. Saubert, George Kittle I don't think has officially been announced out, but Schefter tweeted out is likely out. So Saubert's in play at 2,500 then. The receivers, Debo at 68, Jennings at 53, Ricky Pearsall at 49. All those guys are in play. CMC's too cheap. Talk about facing Tampa Bay. A good run defense. Seattle, worse against the run, obviously. But he only goes up $300 for a running back that got 20 opportunities in his first game. You definitely want to get a lot of exposure to Christian McCaffrey again. And then Kansas City, Buffalo. I like Kareem Hunt at 6,700. I think he's in a really, really, really good spot against Buffalo. Mahomes, it's just tough to get to now. Mahomes is in the playoffs played really good against Buffalo. Kind of seen where he's been at this season. And against Tampa Bay in Week 9, that's kind of been his peak fantasy high this season, which sucks because we're so used to Mahomes being a top fantasy guy. But, I mean, he's good. They win. Obviously, they're undefeated. But the fantasy numbers haven't been there as much. Travis Kelce's pretty much the only pass catcher I have exposure to in this game for that side. 6,300. I don't want to take a shot at Hopkins, Worthy, and Juju's back, so Juju will probably get, take snaps away from Watson and Mecole Hardman, so it'll be Hopkins, Worthy, Juju. So I don't want to take a risk there. On the Buffalo side, Amari Cooper in, so Amari Cooper, Shakir, you can, in my opinion, flip a coin. I think it's a tougher matchup for both. Obviously, if Cooper was going to be out, Shakir would be in a smash spot. You still have Matt Collins, Curtis Samuel behind him, but being the number one guy, getting healthier. But with Kincaid out, you get Dawson Knox at 3,500. So Dawson Knox is a really good play playing against the worst defense to tight ends. I did forget to mention for Seattle, AJ Barner is 3,100. I think he's in a really good spot. It's just the price point. They've used Noah Fant. I did also forget for Detroit with Laporte out. Brock Wright is available. So you get, a lot of cheap tight end plays this week. And then defense. Vikings against Tennessee stand out, right? Obviously. The Lions against Jacksonville. Both those defenses are in a really good spot. Green Bay against Chicago in a really good spot. I do like the Rams against New England, and then we're going to go down the Titans against Minnesota. 2,300, I don't need a lot. If they get positive points, I'm okay. The Bears, you could go Bears, 2,400. I don't love that one either. But that's kind of where I'm at with defenses this week. Jets kind of are interesting with Anthony Richardson as the quarterback. Obviously, a lot of issues there, but the defense has not been the same defense we've been used to the last few years, especially as of late. Like, since Robert Saleh has been gone, have not performed well. So that's pretty much it for today. Not a lot of injury news offensively that makes players playable. Really haven't gotten that lately. It's pretty much been guys out for the season for Chris Olave, and you don't have a guy stepping up because Shaheed is out. So that's where we're at with the slate. So I hope you guys did enjoy this. Hope you guys have a good DFS. And yeah, I will have video going out for the showdown tomorrow. So if you guys are looking forward to that, that will be out. If you guys are interested in all my player pools, my bets, props, as well as our FanDuel as well, our website is up. We'll have the link for that in the description if you guys go back and watch this. We'll have the link for that. You guys could check that out. And good live stream. Just, really easy, in my opinion, to kind of go over this slate. So that's it. And see you guys.